Hello everyone, this is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and today I want to tell you how I became the great niece of Emmy Goering, First Lady of the Third Reich. Yes, you heard me right, and I know you're thinking, what crazy story is she coming up with? Is she just trying to get a viral video and views? Is that what her thing is? Because, oh come on, you are not the great niece of Emmy Goering, married to Hermann Goering, the right-hand man of Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, who went to their wedding. You're not the great niece of this woman over here. Well, let me tell you something. According to the newspapers of the day, I am indeed the great niece of Emmy Goering. And I'm bringing you this story so that I can impress upon you that when you listen to the media, when you listen to any of the major networks, when you read anything on the internet, when you watch any YouTube show, be careful of what people present as facts, because they may not be facts at all. It's just some kind of gossip, some kind of rumor, slander that's out there, or just misinformation. So how did I become the great niece of Emmy Goering? How is that even possible? Well, let me tell you how that happened. My father was born in Germany, and he grew up there until I think he was about 12 years old. I'm trying to remember. But anyway, this is my grandfather. This is my grandmother. My father's the one with the big ears over here, and that's my uncle. This is his classroom, and you can see the swastikas on the wall, so you can see what time it was. And so around 1938, what happened was, apparently, Emmy Goering, her maiden name was Zoniman. And if you take a look at this picture, my grandfather's name is Zoniman. Okay, now, Emmy Goering was born Emmy Zoniman. This is my grandmother. Her name is Emmy, and she married my grandfather, and she became Emmy Sonneman. All right, there you go. So now we've got two women named Emmy, both with the Sonneman name. Now, here's what happened. So my father, by the way, he did leave with his parents. They managed to get out on the last, pretty much second or third to last ship out of Germany in 1939. So some of my relatives did get killed in Germany during that horrible time. But my father and his brother and my grandparents got out and moved to New York, and my father married my mother, who was not Jewish, and I was brought up, in not in any particular religion at all, and I didn't know that much about the Jewish side of my family. But this story bothered my father when he was growing, for his whole life, I think, because this story came out in the newspapers in Germany, and then it crossed across the ocean to the United States. And here's what I heard from my father in his later years. He would play with these salt and pepper shakers, and he'd take one of the salt and pepper shakers, and he'd push it across the table and say, "That woman, the actress. She was the actress." But I didn't know what he was talking about, and he never explained. When my father died, my second cousin contacted me and said, "I'm sorry to hear that about your father's passing," and we started talking about family history. And she said her father also did the thing where he said, "That woman, the actress." And so we both were wondering what happened here, and we found out the story. So here's the story on how we all became relatives of Emmy Goering. All right, when she went to marry Hermann Goering, she was an actress, so there were some people who didn't like the fact that this would be his second wife, that he was marrying just an actress. And so they started a lot of gossip. One of the things they did to slander her in those days was to call her Jewish, because a lot of actresses and actors were in the theater were Jewish. So they said she was Jewish. And then they said, because they wanted to make sure she was hooked up with somebody they could prove was a Jewish person, they said that this man, his name is Leopold Sonneman, he was the publisher of the Frankfurter Zeitung, and he was a fighter for Jewish rights. He was a very famous Jewish man. He is my ancestor. But they said, "Oh no, she's the grandniece of this guy." And then they also said her father's name was August, and my great grandfather's name is August. So her Her father's name was supposed to be August Sonnemann. My great-grandfather's name was August Sonnemann. You see what's happening here? They were borrowing my family's history and putting it on her. And this is the rumor that went around all over the place. My father apparently believed it and was a little bit concerned about it because he was with the Department of Defense and he had a high-level clearance and he didn't want people thinking there were Nazis in our past. But what he didn't ever get to read, which was very, very sad, he did not get to read this, which was put out by a publication, Canadian, I think it's called the Canadian Jewish Chronicle. And this is what it says. If you look halfway down the page, it says this: popular opinion to the contrary. And I find that interesting. They're saying popular opinion. So this wasn't just one story. This is a story that went everywhere. Popular opinion to the contrary, Emmy Zonnemann, the present wife of Goering, is no relation to the famous Leopold Zonnemann, my relative, the Jewish founder of the Frankfurter Zeitung, nor is she Jewish. The confusion, oh no, that wasn't confusion, folks. That was purposely misleading information. The confusion arose from the fact that Frau Goring's father's name was August, and that in the Jewish Sonnemann family, that was my family, there is also an August who has a daughter named Emmy, which was my grandmother. Okay, so again, all of this gets very confusing. And actually her father's name wasn't even August, because when my cousin went, she actually went to Germany and checked all the records just to be absolutely sure that she wasn't on the family tree, and even that fact was not a fact. So yeah, if you believe everything you read and everything you hear, you might believe that you have Nazis in your background and that this woman is my aunt, which I really don't want her to be. So all phony. But it was in the newspapers. It was well known, as they said. So be careful. Any facts you run into, wherever you run into them, make sure you don't just jump to agreeing with it or shouting it to everybody else. Oh, I know this because I read this. No, make sure you have some solid information, something backing those facts before you just believe it. So that's my little story for you today. If you like that, please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel and check my playlist. I have analyzed a lot of crimes, and I may have already analyzed a crime you want to know about. So check that out and share this video, and I'll see you maybe next time. Bye.